We're straight away cutting across to some breaking news coming in as sources in the Enforcement Directorate have told Republic that Congress leader Ahmed Patel was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate for questioning in connection with the Sterling Biotech case. But Ahmed Patel did not turn up citing COVID guidelines. In fact, his son and son-in-law have allegedly confessed to knowing Chetan Sandesara, and this is a very important admission made by Ahmed Patel's son and son-in-law. But Sonia Gandhi's right-hand man, who has not turned up in front of the ED, saying that he can't appear before the ED because he is a senior citizen and as per COVID guidelines, he needs to stay indoors. In fact, the ED also wrote back to Ahmed Patel saying that they are willing to come to his residence for questioning or given him another option of appearing before the ED either this week or next week. Shravan Sen, our senior news editor, is picking up all the details on the same. Shravan, first up, which option is Ahmed Patel considering? Also, the admission made by his son and son-in-law, which happens to be a big twist in this.
Well, two big developments in the Sterling Biotech case. We are now given to understand that the Congress leader, senior leader rather, Ahmed Patel was basically called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. He was asked to appear before the agency tomorrow. In fact, he's written to the Enforcement Directorate seeking for more time and also basically cited the COVID guidelines saying that he's a senior citizen and he's essentially been advised to stay indoor. That's point number one. Point number two, with regards to the investigation that has been carried out by the Enforcement Directorate, they've already written to Ahmed Patel saying that if you're not willing to come to the Enforcement Directorate headquarters for questioning, we are willing to send our officers to your residence for questioning. You have a choice to be questioned either this week or sometime next week. These are the two choices that have been given. In fact, the letter was written by the Enforcement Directorate to the senior Congress leader only today, so we'll have to wait and watch as to what option does Ahmed Patel essentially chooses. Now, with regards to the second part of our breaking that we are getting in, this is certainly very important, an important twist in the Sterling Biotech case in itself. Chetan Sandesara, who is one of the accused in this Sterling Biotech case itself, we are now given to understand that Ahmed Patel's son as well as his son-in-law, when they were basically called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate in the last few weeks, have basically admitted before the Enforcement Directorate that they had an idea who Chetan Sandesara is. In fact, they were in touch with Chetan Sandesara himself, and that in itself brings in the huge twist in the Sterling Biotech case, given the fact that this entire equation between the Sandesara and the Ahmed Patel family, something that Ahmed Patel himself was basically trying to distance, has now come out in the open, where Ahmed Patel's son and son-in-law admitted that they did know who Chetan Sandesara was.
All right, Shravan, for the moment, thank you for getting us all these details. And all right, before we let you go, quickly also to understand from you what the ED has now decided to do next.
Well, as far as the next step of action is concerned, Suesha, what we are given to understand is that the Enforcement Directorate has just shot off a letter to the senior Congress leader just a while ago. That's what I'm being told by my sources within the Enforcement Directorate. So it's very unlikely that perhaps this letter would have also reached the Congress leader at this point in time. But once it does, perhaps senior Congress leader Ahmed Patel will have very limited options available before him, because he will finally have to basically either seek for more time, and if he does so, he will also have to cite a reason as to why he's seeking more time. That basically goes against him, because that perhaps would also be cited by the Enforcement Directorate before the court that he's not cooperating with this entire investigation to begin with. Secondly, with regards to how far they have progressed, remember the Enforcement Directorate is essentially looking at the kind of loans that were basically granted and the way Sterling Biotech company, they had basically floated multiple shell companies. These shell companies were basically used to divert funds, siphon of funds, and that's what the Enforcement Directorate has also been probing at this point in time, and various sections of the PMLA have basically been invoked by the Enforcement Directorate. Here, once again, remember Ahmed Patel's family members, their link with the Sandesaras is something that the Enforcement Directorate is certainly probing at this point in time.
And for the benefit of our viewers, Shravan, also quickly recount all the details for us with regards to this case and what the ED probe has revealed until now.
Well, in fact, there is already a charge sheet that has been filed by the Enforcement Directorate in the Sterling Biotech case, where basically the company has been accused of siphoning off funds and floating in multiple shell companies. In fact, loan that was basically taken from a consortium of banks, they were diverted and rather siphoned off through multiple shell companies. Over 100 such shell companies were basically floated by Sandesaras themselves, Chetan Sandesara as well as Nitin Sandesara, who were basically running in this entire company and the chain of companies, and loans that were basically taken from a consortium of banks which was headed by Andhra Bank itself was thereafter being utilized in various companies. Now we are given to understand that the Sandesaras have basically been evading this entire investigation. They haven't reported to the summons that have been sent by the Enforcement Directorate all this while, and not just that, they have not even returned to the country so far, and that's the reason why we're given to understand red corner notices were already been issued by the Enforcement Directorate.
All right, Shravan, thank you for all these details.